Welcome, welcome. We did it.
Thank you for the invitation.
Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to our first magnetic talk here in this group, Magnetic Marketing and Mindset for the Soulful and Heart-Centered Entrepreneur. I'm super thrilled about my first guest today. Welcome, Heidi.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you very much.
And we're kicking off this new year with a special guest. Both of us were wearing blue. We didn't talk about it, but it's my favorite color. So you will get these talks on a regular basis. I'm super thrilled about many awesome guests we will have here to chat about all the different things about New Year, marketing, mindset, personal development, everything we all need to be successful in our business and of course in life. And this is the first talk, so we see how it goes. I'm super excited. Welcome, Heidi. Let's get started, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, your journey into entrepreneurship, because I know you haven't been an entrepreneur from the beginning and for many decades, but for a couple of years now, and how you started building your coaching business.
So I'm from Austria, and I studied marketing in Vienna and was very excited about this world and did love it very much. And I remember there was a time when we were asked to really think what we want to achieve in our lives and what our strengths and weaknesses are. And only recently I found a sheet where I was journaling and basically said, I think it's not good for me to be employed. It's probably better for my personality to work on my own. And that was 25 years ago. 20 years then in a corporation or in the business world as an employee has taught me a lot. So I'm not regretting any day or days there, because I think the level of skills that you can learn, especially when you have very good managers and leaders, is just incredible. And but I've recently taken the decision to turn my passion into or my calling into profession, and that's a very exciting journey. So there are of course ups and downs. It's a roller coaster, but the beautiful thing is that every day I know why I'm getting up, and I have a very clear vision, and there is a, let's say, a soul deep driver that connects everything together, and that really gives me a lot of pleasure and joy. So I think the reward when you work for your own, especially on a project that is very close to your heart, is it's difficult to describe and very hard to find in a more corporate setting.
So when did you start your business? Did you start like you left the corporate world, you started your business, or did you have like a transition period?
It was quite a long transition period. And I mean, everyone is different in terms of their personalities. I somehow always felt I'm a very courageous woman, but then there are times when I'm also very conservative, let's put it like that. And that's also how my journey looked like. So in 2013 I had stress related illnesses, and I really had to take it slow. I had to learn how to fuel my body in the right way, how to take care of myself. So really understanding what are the things that are good for me from a nutrition point of view, but also from a physical point of view, and mental and emotional as well. And because I was so devastated back then that this had happened to me, so I said, okay, I'm going to turn this weakness into strength, and I studied nutrition. So that was more than 7 years ago now, and did that primarily for myself. And then came a point when I knew so much about it, and I was so passionate about everything that I learned and how I changed my life around, that I felt I need to share that with the world. I need to share that at least with my friends. And then realize that some of my friends listen to me, but others not so much. And that really was difficult for me to accept, in a way, to say, oh, I've discovered this holy grail of how to live healthy and be in your energy and full of joy and fun all day long. So who wouldn't want that? And then I thought, maybe if I turn that into a business and make something out of that that has a more professional, let's say, label to that, then I can talk to people who really need my help, who really want my help, who are prepared to change, which is most important, the biggest question mark when it comes to healthy habits, etc. So it was from a calling of really, I need to share that with the world, when I then decided to turn it into a business. And over 3 years I worked, then had other trainings, and of course once you're in that wheel of excitement and you want to learn from here and there and another weekend seminar, so I was really growing all my expertise. And yeah, for 3 years I worked in parallel, especially in the evenings or sometimes at the weekends, which was fine at the beginning because most of my clients are career-driven women who are in jobs anyway, and who prefer to have the conversations in the evenings. But then of course comes a point when you realize I cannot split myself in two, and having a highly demanding corporate job is also, of course, demanding a lot and energy training to some extent. And then I realized I need to, or I want to, really put my life's energy into something that I wholeheartedly believe in and stand behind. And that's what I'm doing today.
Yeah, I can believe it's going to be hard. Like, you have a full driven corporate job. You want to get started, especially in the area of health and nutrition, and you have to look at yourself on do like your self-care, right? Not just what you
yes, that's the additional thing in terms of
on your own health,
walking the talk in a way.
Right. Awesome. So fabulous. So we started this new year just a couple of days ago. I'm, especially when talking to a health coach, a life coach, I'm super interested how someone like you, Heidi, reviewed last year, let's say released last year, because a lot of us, we really had to do like a release thing, I think, because 2020 was especially challenging, especially different from other years. How did you release or review the last year, and how did you start into the new year? Is there a ritual you're doing? Is there a process?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, I always find December is a special month, and I really take it slow in December and use it for reflection. So there is a lot of review that I do in December, and also outlook work, planning work for the next year. And of course, it could be any month of the year, but given that the entire world is excited about Christmas, I thought I'll just stick to the normal calendar. And so that's why I'm doing a lot of my vision work in December. And this one was particularly interesting because in January I had, of course, set myself goals and what I wanted to achieve, and in a very, let's say, very in detail. And then I realized in December that, first of all, many of the targets that I had set myself were like out of the blue, because I've never really done what I'm doing now in terms of building up an online business alongside the one-on-one coaching. So I thought, I'm not sure if I could really measure myself against goals that were more wishful thinkings. And the other thing was that I realized it was such a tough year for all of us. And everyone tried to survive or make the best of the year. And then I thought, you know what? I'm not going to go down the usual route in terms of measuring myself against goals that I've set in a very different climate. So I said, I'm collecting everything that I did, and I'm proud of all my achievements, and that's it. So I've really only looked at the positive things, or what I've done, contributed, built, etc. And then at the end I thought, that's actually quite a clever process, because then you don't get into that self-critical analysis thing for no reasons, and especially with last year, I think it's so important for all of us, and it's our own responsibility to show up in a positive way, and whatever we can in a self-supportive way to get us into that better and higher state of thinking, or for those of you who believe in energy, I think whatever you can do to achieve that, that's important to do now.
Wow, wow. I think this is a really valuable point to really focus on the good things, because 2020 was challenging, but I'm sure everybody can find good parts, good things that happened, little things we are grateful for, and also things we can, you know, we can be proud of, right? Like you said. So definitely that's
Yes.
really good part. So
and one little trick I also want to share with listeners, I do have here a box, and whenever there is something during the year that happened, I write a post-it and put it in. So that's my that's the basket of all the wonderful experiences, and whenever I feel down, or also like at the end of the year, I'm just going through all that, and it's
so that's like the happy box. You put in all the good things that's happening along the year.
Yeah,
that's great, because I think I tried to review too last year, and I'm trying to get better every year. But sometimes it's really hard if you don't keep track along the year to really remember all the good things. Like you're in December and you're like, okay, maybe there was good things happening in February, March, April, and that's a good idea with the box or a journal. The box is really
exactly, yes.
Just throw it in.
Yeah, because it's sometimes easier, or I don't know if that's the nature of our minds, that we remember the negative things sometimes faster or easier than the positive things. So that's why keeping track of all the good things in life is important.
So did you pick out the papers, the post-its from your box, and have you been surprised about things that were in there you hardly didn't remember?
Yes. Yeah. So that's also the idea of this exercise, that you're like, oh my God, I completely forgot that wonderful conversation I had in June, or that success I had with my clients.
That's fabulous. That's a great idea. I'm going to set up a new box for 2020.
Yeah. And I think it's especially important for us women, because we tend to be very self-critical, and we always see what's not working and how can I be better, etc. That I think having something like that to force our minds to see what's actually going well is important.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome, great idea. So we're kicking off this new year. It's the time, I mean, we can do it all year long, but for most of us, it's the time where we do New Year's Eve resolutions. We think about plans. We want to change the world. We want to do better than last year, have big plans. How would you help us get clear on our goals? How are you doing this with your clients? How are you doing it for yourself? Are there any techniques involved? Can you guide us a little bit through a process? Maybe a few of us, or many of us, are still in this first week of 2021. The resolutions are present, they are fresh. Maybe we're still, like I myself, I'm still in the process of setting up all the goals and really planning out my year. So I would be grateful, and I'm sure a lot of people in this group, how you would set up the process to give us some ideas.
I think the first thing is to be specific, because to generally say, oh, I want to eat healthier, or I want to do more exercise, those are the kind of New Year's resolutions that by the second week of January, about 80% of the people have already forgotten, let alone really implemented. So I think those more generic things it's better not to do them at all, because the thing is, you also train yourself that failing is allowed, or that not executing, or cheating, or not following up is okay. And so I'd rather say don't have any New Year's resolutions if there is nothing that particularly feels powerful or passionate, where you're passionate about. It's better to have none. So the first question I would say, do you think this is a year where you really want to have some? And then the next question is not only the what, but it's also the how. Often we're very good at saying what in terms of, I don't know, whether that's revenue that we want to increase, or business partnerships that we want to build up, etc. But the more important thing for me is also, how do you want to experience your life? So you had this wonderful question in the group the other day where you asked, what's your word of the year? So for me, I've picked the word excitement. For two reasons. One, because in this climate that we are in, or this, let's say, very low vibe, fear-loaded environment, I feel that I want to be the beacon of light. I want to be the force for good. I want to do things differently. And to do that, I want to remind myself regularly how beautiful life is, how much I love my life, and also that excitement is allowed to be in stark contrast and contradiction to the world that we're experiencing when we turn on the news. And the other reason was that I realized the shift from the corporate world to the entrepreneurial world was, I mean, it's day and night in terms of the content. But on the other hand, at the end of the year, I realized I was again in my hamster wheel somehow. And I thought, this is so bizarre. But the reason why I got out of that was, of course, to be far more emotional, far more passionate about what I was doing. And of course, having worked in one field for 20 years, you become a little bit more, let's say, less passionate, because you have seen many things, you know how it works, and you're a bit more calm and collected, which is also good at a senior level. So that's fine. But I realized I'm now on my own journey, and I'm allowed to feel like a 20-year-old something after having completed university. I mean, when I remember back how many business books I read, how excited I was about the world of marketing, and this was everything to me. But that passion over the times, of course, gets replaced by experience. And I realized now I'm doing so many new things. For the first time, I'm launching a book. Never done that before in my life. But I was expecting it to deliver that in a way, or subconsciously expecting me to behave like, the businesswoman that I have been over the last years. And then I thought, no, I can be far more emotional here in a good way.
I love excitement. I love this word, and I love what you said. I can so relate that you have this passion in the beginning when you're starting off, and you're indulging in it, and then you praise it by experience. And suddenly, the more experienced you are, and the more it gets like an everyday thing, you lose your passion and you lose your emotions. And I can so relate to that. And when it's time to start something new, you get so emotional, you get so passionate. It's like a new beginner's mind. Yeah,
and I think it also keeps you young in a way. I mean, it's good for your brain, of course, but it's also good, I think, for your spirits. It has a rejuvenating effect, I believe.
So that what you said, definitely it's true. Like all these big resolutions, and they're like blurry, and healthy, or get fitter, or build a business. What does it mean, build a business? Get more clients. What does it mean, get more clients? 1 or 10 or exactly. So being specific is definitely important, and specific with the timeline, I would say.
With the timeline, and also realistic in terms of how does it work in terms of industry. Although I also believe that there is an element of magic and you shouldn't neglect that. So given that Gabby Bernstein is one of my teachers, I obviously believe in that element of magic and miracles. So I think when you are really on your life's path, in terms of you're following your passion, you're following your purpose, you are there where you're meant to be in your life, then I think something else kicks in. And that is support from some call it the universe, or a force that is, I guess, maybe beyond what our eyes can see, in terms of really being guided and supported. Of course, you need to have an open eye to that, or see what's happening, seeing the opportunities, and then making the most of the opportunities. But I think there is an element of of when you've decided to follow your heart's voice, there is a new kind of force that enters into your life.
Definitely, and it feels good. You feel supported, and you feel that, like some put it, the universe conspires, and but what you send out, you attract, and then
exactly.
I'm a big fan of Gary Bernstein too, so you become a super attractor.
And then the goals can be higher, but not in terms of ego, in terms of I want to be, I don't know, but more in terms of I want to have an impact, or I want to, and for my book, for example, I've just set a number that I want to sell because that's the number that came to my mind, and maybe that's going to be the number, and if not, then it's okay. But there is a wish of how many women I'm going to help and support with the work that I've been doing.
Definitely. So quick step to the goal setting. What would you recommend all of us? We are still in the middle of goal setting, like 3 simple steps how to move on, like maybe do something we can do today, tonight, or this upcoming weekend to be more prepared and more clear on our goals this year.
So I think the first thing is joy, in terms of really becoming clear also what brings you joy, because that's usually then where are your skills. I mean, there are, of course, the ideas of you have to be on all those social media channels, you have to do this and that. There is a certain blueprint now for digital entrepreneurs, but maybe Twitter is not your account or whatever. So really being in that space of understanding, where do I thrive? Where do I get pleasure from? What resonates with me most? And of course, it's not an easy journey, but saying goodbye or giving yourself the permission to not have to deliver like everyone else on Instagram or so. So being courageous enough to carve out your own path and to say, this is what I'm doing and this is what I'm not engaging in, and also having a clear why to that. So that, for example, last year I said I'm not going to do YouTube because it's just too much, and I want to be good on my podcast, and that's what I want to emphasize. So, but I had a clear vision when that's going to be part of my life. So last year when people asked me, are you on YouTube? And I said, no, I didn't feel bad about it. I think it's really having those clear intentions, having a clear vision, and also allowing yourself that things take time. I think that was one of the biggest lessons for me last year. Things take longer than you think they do. I mean, first of all, as an entrepreneur, you don't have the team that you had in the corporate world. In my case, I had 10 people full-time working for me. That's a different kind of hours that I have available than now on my own. And the other reason is that following what brings you joy is also the thing to your path, because you're not, otherwise it's a cookie cutter thing from the corporate world, but minus the perceived job security, and that would be ridiculous in a way. So it's having the courage to say, what is my path? What do I do this year? What do I do next year? And also saying no to certain things.
Absolutely, absolutely. And a thing I'm experiencing in my, I'm usually very impatient, so patience is another word I probably should add this year. But I experience it, and that's what, of course, all our mentors and coaches are saying, that we all tend to put too many goals in 1 year. So we are overestimating what we can do in 1 year, but we are usually underestimating what we can do on the long run. That's why my word this year is consistency.
Yeah.
Because I did this in the last years. You put so much power in it. You kicking off. You're doing like you mentioned the example of Instagram. I say, okay, I'm gonna do an Instagram post every day, and I keep going for 2 and 3 weeks, and then I'm exhausted because you can do it. I couldn't do it. So rather have the consistency, and rather say, like you said, put your plans. Maybe you do something in the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
Because for me personally, I was always overestimating what I could pack in 1 year, and kind of underestimating if I keep doing the things and being consistent and being also patient with myself, there's something you can build over the years, and that's why we're here for, right? It's a marathon. It's not like a sprint.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and especially with passion work or things, I mean, we can do that until the end of our life. So
Right.
why complete everything tomorrow? What are you going to do after that? So it's it's also giving yourself the allowance that it will evolve over time.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is, I think being an entrepreneur really forces you to get to know yourself extremely well. So, for example, I know my strength, and similar to you, I guess, is like kicking off projects. I'm a pioneer, I'm a visionary, I'm always steps ahead of what's really happening now. And once a project is completed, 80%, I've definitely lost interest in that, because in my mind, it's completed, it's a tick, and I'm already in project 3 or 4, which comes afterward. And that's a huge strength to have. But there are 2 ways to deal with it as an entrepreneur. Either you fairly quickly build up a team and they are picking up the 20 last percent and they are completing it for you. That's an option, to say, I'm willing to invest in that. Or to say, okay, this is actually my weakness in terms of finishing it off, and I have to force myself not to have a new idea, or I have to have that calendar where the new idea is populated in 2022 and I'm moving it there, and I know this is not my strength. So you are and also in the corporate world, some of those things you don't really notice because it's happening, and you are somehow making it happen because it's a network of people who are collaborating. Yeah, so really, that's what I find the beautiful, but also the very harsh thing, that it very brutally confronts you with your nature in a way.
Yeah, I can so relate. So, but I guess you have your goals for this year. So,
Yes.
What are you looking forward the most in 2021? What is the one big thing for you?
For me, it's the book launch. So that's going to happen in February. It's a book for women who are desperately looking for Mr. Right. So it's very close to my own journey. And I'm using Valentine's Day to go big on that. So it's for single women, but it's for every woman. So I've shared it with some women by now, and they said, well, actually, I'm in a relationship, but this is such a useful guide.
What is the book's title? What is the book's title?
The book's title is called The Queendom Within.
Very good.
Because the core message is that irrespective of what's going on in the outside world, irrespective of you, whether you have Mr. Prince or your castle or not, you have a beautiful inner landscape, and you are a queen no matter what. And cultivating that feeling and that inner kingdom, but queendom for women, is a beautiful journey, and that's what I'm inviting the readers to do. So it's a set of 28 exercises. They can be done on a day, or when you do the diamond level, it might probably take you a couple of more days. So it's either completed in 4 weeks or you take longer, but it's meant as a gentle, easy, lovely inspiration. And I've had the wonderful luck that an Austrian illustrator, Marie-Therese Topka, has done the illustrations. So every exercise also has a beautiful illustration from her in there.
Beautiful. Exciting. It's your first book. I think when you start writing books, you won't stop. Anybody who wrote just one book, so
it's probably a bit of an addiction. And that was one thing. I had the ideas for the second book already in my mind, and I wanted to kickstart it in December. And then I said, no, I'm not going to do that. It's exactly for that reason that I explained before. I want to learn to complete something 100% before I start something else. And so that's why the next book we'll have to wait a little bit.
Yeah, and as we all know, well, the baby is launched, it's packed, it's ready, but it's not done, right? So now the whole promotion thing starting. And
exactly. Now the marketing and promotion.
Awesome, perfect, great. So we talked about a lot of things: goal setting, your new book, your one word, excitement. But I know before the book launch, there's something else you're launching.
Oh, yes.
So I know that in a couple of days you're launching your new online challenge, Let's Rise and Shine, Honey. Tell us quickly about it, and tell us also how the guys in the group here can still join.
Yes. So it's a sugar detox and meditation challenge, because I feel those two things go well together and they support each other. A sugar detox can be quite a tough thing, but with meditation, it's more gentle. And yeah, that comes from my interest in helping people to be healthier and also create a strong immune system, which is so important for all of us now. And after this holiday season where everyone had lots of sugar, it's quite good to tell your body actually that's a treat and not the day-to-day serving. So that starts on Sunday, the 10th of January. It goes on for 21 days. And people who are interested in it can sign up, I think, below in this video. So we are giving away 3 seats for free. And yeah, I'm super excited to have you join me. So there is going to be daily emails from me. It's a combination of information but also inspiration. And so I'm in my role as a cheerleader, but also as a teacher at times. And there is a Facebook group where already a couple of people are in there and sharing their intentions. So it's a community thing as well. So you're not on your own. But the beautiful thing is it's a point system, so you can give yourself points whenever you've done something good, and you don't need to share it with the group. So it sounds very harsh. I know sugar detox always like, oh my God, but the idea is that it's actually gentle but transformational, and will maybe have a long-lasting impact even.
Awesome, fabulous. I think it's something probably all of us need. I definitely need it. And I think it's amazing that you're doing these challenges, because like me, a lot of women need someone who take you by their hand, you know, and to really be in a group together, be in a community together, get some daily support and also help and everything. And like I tried to start a soft detox as of January, like many of us do, after 2 weeks of celebrations and Christmas cookies and family dinners and wine drinking and everything. But it's really hard. I mean, sugar is really a tough cookie. I mean,
I think it's the toughest cookies of all.
I mean, for me, it's so much easier. I can easily stay away from the glass of wine, but the sugar craving is something that's haunting me. So I think a lot of us need this challenge. And yes, again, what we do, we're going to drop the link where you can, of course, sign up. It's a very, very low price to join. But as Heidi mentioned, for this group especially, she's gonna give away 3 free seats. So if you want to join in the challenge, it's starting on, is it Saturday?
Yeah, because that's a bit more an explanation. Yeah. It's a longer thing. And I then thought, yeah, Monday it's going to
Monday is a good start. It's going to be 21 days or 3 weeks. So if you want to be in the group and you're serious about some sugar detox like I am, drop a comment and tell us why you want to do it, of course. And Heidi will pick 3 winners and you can join the challenge for free. Thank you, Heidi. That's a really great thing starting off this year. Yeah, thank you for the talk, for the chat.
Thank you for the time. Yes, thank you for inviting me. And I wish everyone who is watching this on replay a wonderful start to the year. Lots of health and happiness. But I think it's also good to take it easy, and it's probably a wonderful opportunity that we have now to practice some self-love and self-care in the times that we are currently going through together. So
thank you so much, Heidi, for joining us for this chat. I really look forward to your challenge, your book launch, and everything else you're planning and working on this week. And for you guys, thank you. This was our first Magnetic Talk. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give us feedback, please comment, and we will have a new guest very soon. But first of all, check out the Sugar Detox Challenge. I think the name is great. Let's Rise and Shine, Honey. So
Because there's wheat enough. We don't need any sugar.
Right, right. So true. Thank you so much, Heidi.
Thank
And you
you.
all have a
Bye.